Good afternoon, everybody. It's Dr. Spenda here. I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of an overview of Chapter 7 in your textbook that we'll be covering this week. This leads us into our last three chapters, 7, 8, and 9, and before you know it, the semester will be over. So, in Chapter 7, really what we're looking at is the context of climate interaction. In communication studies, I know a lot of times that we look at the context or the situation that conflict occurs in, or communication occurs in for that matter. And really, I think the textbook authors do a really nice job of exploring that in this chapter. The first thing they start off with that's interesting to me is the history of conflict interaction. I think at this point most of us recognize and realize that the history of conflict has a huge impact on how things end up turning out in conflicts. And the coordinated management of meaning theory is one way that the book expresses that on page 205 to 208. Using that theory, it's kind of one of the more abstract theories I'd say we've had in our time here in this class, but really coordinated management of meaning, as the book quotes on page 208, provides a basis for identifying and understanding how the same event can have different meanings for parties and how these meanings affect their actions. Obviously, something like this is very key for conflict interaction, so that's worth a good analysis there. Also, after that, the book kind of gets into communication climate and conflict climate. And what we mean by climate, it's obviously a much different meaning than what we assign to it as far as something like weather would be concerned, but the book does a nice job of really illustrating that for you on page 215 to 217. And then also after that, explaining what it is, also explaining how to make conflict better through a good climate, through a supportive climate. And the book talks about that on page 222 through 224, and also right after that too. And finally, Chapter 7 ends with organizational climates. You know, what types of climates are there in organizations, and how do we work with climates within our organization? So I think many of you who do have inter-organization conflict that you've thought about or talked about in your journals might really find this chapter interesting. So I wish you luck and good reading, and hopefully things went well for you on exam 2. I hope to get those back to you shortly. Thanks.